What a great day to be an Eagle. One more time for the greatest team in America.
Eagle Nation, the time is here. It is officially game week. This Saturday, Georgia Southern kicks off the 2025 college football season on the West Coast against Fresno State, a team that kicked off their season in week 0, Cody, a 31-7 loss at Kansas. We'll talk about that game. We'll preview this as our last preview episode of the preseason. And we'll spend it just talking about the Fresno State Bulldogs and game 1 for Georgia Southern. But Cody, before we get into that, football's back, baby.
Football is back.
It is back.
It is back.
Let's go.
And we've already had some crazy games already. I mean, who would have thought UNLV and Idaho State would be like a must-watch game? But daggum, if Idaho State almost pulled off that upset.
They did. I thought, yeah, that would have derailed some G5,
playoff
G5,
hopes.
Playoff hopes right out of the gate. And Farmageddon in Dublin was a good game too. So, yeah, I mean, week 0, it hasn't been a thing for that long, I don't think.
I don't know.
But
I feel
like
like it's getting bigger every year.
They've been doing the Dublin game for a few years. Those have been good at least the past 2 years. Obviously, Georgia Tech and Florida State last year was crazy with the walk-off field goal for Tech. But yeah, so some good games, even FCS games. As we're recording this, like Mercer is in a rain delay with their game. So, but yeah, week 1 is upon us. Georgia Southern kicking off their season. A rare opportunity for Cody and I and all fans, and obviously the coaching staff and players, to get a look at their week 1 opponent.
Yep.
In the during this season instead of just looking at tape from last season. So let's get into it. Welcome to GATA Talk. My name's Matt. That's Cody. If you're joining us for the first time or the 100th and whatever episode this is, 150th time, welcome. We are brought to you by Can Cut Tools, our official sponsor. So thank you, Can Cut. Go check them out. It's premium drill bits and cutting tools. You can find them at cancut.com. That's KNKUT.com. Also check them out on Instagram. It's a Georgia-owned small business. Andy Thompson, Georgia Southern alumni, proud supporter of this podcast. We thank you, Andy, and go show them some love. Like I said, last preview episode of the season before we get into it. So yeah, Cody, let's just break down this Fresno State team, not just this game, but obviously, a lot to unpack here with this one. So they went on the road against Kansas. Kansas is a team that obviously, used to be an FBS bottom dweller.
Yes.
But has picked things up in the last couple years. Lance Leopold there has turned things around, made them very competitive, made them a high-octane offense. And yeah, I mean, they certainly look good. But like I said, 31-7. It was 7-7 fairly early there, exchange of touchdowns in the first quarter. And then Kansas kind of blew the doors off after that.
Yeah, I felt like watching that game that after that first series, or really first couple of series, that Fresno State's offense just didn't really have it in terms of trying to have an answer for the Kansas defense. And then likewise, I felt like you could tell that Kansas has had a quarterback that's been playing college football for what seems to be about 10 years now.
Yeah, he's a 6-year player, but yeah, I know he's had some injuries and stuff, so he's definitely
he looked really good today.
He did.
And I think the case will be just like it's been, I think, in the last 3 to 4 years at Kansas, that as long as he stays healthy, Kansas will usually have a pretty good chance of winning just about any game that they go into. And so, but no, that quarterback for Kansas played really, really well. I thought that the defense for Fresno State would put up what I thought would be a better fight in terms of, or keep them in the game longer than what they did. But I felt like by the time it got to halftime, it was pretty much kind of game was over by halftime. And then the formality of just playing out the end of the game happened as Fresno State really had nothing.
24-7 at halftime. They did Fresno State seemed, they showed a little bit of life there right before the half. They lined up for a field goal. It was nowhere
That was terrible.
near good. Looked really bad.
It was.
So definitely have some field goal kicker woes.
But that was a
there.
55-yard field goal?
It was at 55, which I think would have been like his career long or something.
Okay.
It was like, 52, I think they said was his current long. So, but yeah, it was way off. And then, after that, I mean, the second half was just honestly like not enjoyable. I mean, I don't think a lot of people, unless they were invested, if they were Kansas fans, Fresno State fans, or basically our fans, that's and the diehards at that point, I think were the only ones that were still paying attention in the second half. But yeah, I mean, I guess let's talk about quarterback play. So some things since the last time we recorded, some news came out that E.J. Warner was named the starter at Fresno State. It's his third team, started his career at Temple, moved to Rice last year. And then now at Fresno State, he's been a starter now at all three programs. He's kind of your, this was certainly the first full game that I've watched him play. I've seen bits and pieces here and there at his time at Temple and Rice, but certainly the most I've ever watched him play collectively. But from what I've kind of read on him, and honestly what the stats kind of told us, I feel like it painted a clear picture of what he is and what he isn't. Like, the kid's a gunslinger. He's kind of a get it and rip it kind of guy, right? Mm-hmm. And he's gonna kind of live and die by that. Like, he's gonna maybe put up some stats. He's got over 50 touchdowns in his career. I think 54, but he's also thrown 37 interceptions going into the Kansas game, and then threw 2 more.
Yeah, 2
so
more.
39 total for his career now, and 2 already on the young season. No touchdowns against Kansas either. So he was 18 for 29 yards with 2 interceptions. And yeah, I mean, obviously Kurt Warner's son. I left that important tidbit out. We recruited him right out of high school. Helton did, give him a look, but he ended up going to Temple. But yeah, I mean, I think, obviously he is still new to the program, still has to figure out the timing and stuff for the receivers and all that. But to me, Cody, it just seemed he was never comfortable. And when Kansas got pressure on him, he folded. He actually started pretty good. He was 5 for 5 to start the game for 81 yards. And then again, just like the rest of the team, the wheels kind of came off after that. It was very different.
Yeah,
after
it was
that first incompletion.
Yeah, after they got out of those scripted plays, it became a very different ball game. But no, I see kind of where you're right. Kansas kind of figured out that they needed to kind of get pressure on him, and they got to him quickly. I felt at times, I don't know if it was really his fault, but his accurate, I kind of felt like there was a couple balls that went through the receiver's hands at times. There was one interception that I felt like was a tip ball, right? And so it seems to me that he will usually try to put the ball where it needs to be at. It's just will his receivers catch it, which kind of concerns me a little bit because at times last year our defense would play what seemed to be 5 or 10 yards off the opponent's receivers, and if you give any quarterback that much space, they're going to make those completions. So I felt like Kansas had pretty good coverage on all their receivers. So yeah, I think in terms of if you're just looking at the quarterback play from E.J. Warner, it was okay. It wasn't nothing to be, I think, scared about. But if we don't pressure him, or if we don't have tight coverage on the receivers, then we may make him look a lot better than what he showed tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And Kansas clearly had a defensive game plan coming in. And I think that game plan was stop the run, right? They had 7-8 guys in the box pretty much all night. I think held them to 37 yards rushing.
Oh, wow.
They held Fresno State to 37 yards rushing, which watching it felt like more than that. I mean, it didn't feel like a ton, but I thought they had close to 100. So when I saw that they had only 37 yards rushing, 29 rushing attempts, just 1.3 yards per carry. So definitely game plan. If that was truly the game plan, I think it was. Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
They shut him down, and they basically put it on E.J. Warner's shoulders to beat him, and he didn't. Like you said, after those scripted plays, you started seeing, the weak points of his game and of their offense. So I would say do kind of the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we talked about in our part 2 of our season preview that, we didn't know a lot about this team. Obviously, new head coach and Matt Ince. If you recognize that name, he was at North Dakota State for a long time as an assistant. He moved into the head coaching role. He won 2 national championships there. Of course, they're an FCS powerhouse. He won even more national championships as an assistant, but their identity there certainly was run the football, right? Very old school, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, kind of game management football. So, Cody, you and I kind of expected maybe more of the same here. And again, I mean, it seemed like they tried to do that, but Kansas just wasn't going to let it happen. So it'll be interesting to see what they try to do against us. Do they make any kind of major shifts or adjustments in how they try to attack our defense versus what they did against Kansas?
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep with their same overall philosophy, which I think is use the run game to get out in front and control the tempo of the clock and control the game and limit possessions, and then use their defense to smother opponents. And with Kansas, they stopped them. They got them behind the chain to get them in second and third and longs, to where it forced EJ Warner to have to throw more than what they were wanting him to do.
Yep.
And also to throw in situations in which it was third and long, and not the 3 and 4, 3 and 3, or third and down and second to go, where you can utilize any play in your playbook to throw at a defense to get the first down. No, so I would expect them to. I don't think they're going to change anything. I think they're going to still use the same philosophy. They're going to want to control the game clock. They're going to want to control possessions, and they're going to want to run the ball down our throat. And it's going to have to be up to us to stop that. I mean, honestly, the bowl game when we played Sam Houston State was a lot similar to what this. Now we have to play a lot better when it comes to pass defense than what we did in that bowl game, but we took away their run game, Sam Houston State's run game, and that was what they were known for. We got to go to we got to go to Fresno and take away their run game, just like Kansas provided the blueprint to how you beat this team.
Yeah,
they really did.
I think
so. We just got to look at that, say, okay, this is what Kansas did well. We need to go out and execute that well, and then we should be moving on to LA with a W, but. That's a lot easier said than done. We can say that all day long and be, hey, man, it's just this easy, Yeah.
It is easier said than done. There's also a lot of variables, right? That's not the same. I mean, I saw a lot of similarities in Kansas to us of their offense, reminding me a lot. Obviously not a one-to-one comparison, but especially early on, the up-tempo stuff, they might be a bit more up-tempo than how we are under Applin. It reminded me a bit more of what we were, under Brian Ellis, right? Maybe a bit more balanced with a run pass. They finished with 383 yards, 176 passing, 207 rushing. So pretty even there. I don't know, just the way, obviously that quarterback Daniels that they have, the 6-year guy, more mobile than JC French, faster than JC French.
I was going to say, it felt like Daniels used his legs in certain situations that got him where a less mobile quarterback would have gotten sacked. I felt like Fresno State's defense was very aggressive at times, where they were very aggressive and bring more than what you can block. And with Daniels, with his legs, he was able to maneuver and get out of it. He recognized where the blitz was coming from.
And I think French can too, but I think his first option is going to be, again, that backfield creator, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be buy some time, get away from the blitz and find an open receiver, where Daniel's first instinct is to tuck it and run.
Yeah, run. Yeah. But again, I thought Daniels also did a great job when he was in those situations to avoid the hit and look downfield and see if he still had an option before he took off and ran.
He did.
I thought Daniels played a really great game.
He was a veteran guy. He looked very poised. I mean, he looked all of the 6 years, right? And I mean, I think.
Which to say, that's what we're going to need French to do next week if we want to win, because they're not. I don't think they're going to stop from being aggressive on defense. In fact, they're probably going to look at French and say he's less mobile than Daniels is. So we're probably going to want to bring just as much, if not more. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, if I was their defensive coordinator, that's what I would do. And again, it's, They opened a new stadium tonight in Kansas. Beautiful facility, by the way.
Had a big
And
crowd there,
had a
too.
huge crowd, sellout crowd. They seemed pretty loud, at least like early on when it was like so very competitive, right? And so hard place to play. Which you used to not be able to say about Kansas, but certainly is now. Where we're going out to their house, and in Fresno,
Yeah.
California. So are they going
Which
to
is
have a
no
big crowd? I don't
slouch.
know.
Which
No
is no
slouch,
slouch
yeah.
either. I mean, I think they seat 40, 45,000 and
they
have
usually
been known
bring
to sell it out.
They do, yeah. They have a passionate fan base. Obviously, they've had a down couple of years. They were 6-7 last year. Like I said, new head coach, new coaching staff, new quarterback. They do have 5 returners on offense, 4 returners on defense, so they're not completely gutted by the portal like we've seen with some teams. But yeah, a lot of newness with this program. Still figuring some stuff out. So yeah, we've got to again go across the country. Play on their turf. They got a tune-up game for lack of better term.
Yeah.
Right. So I think they're going to learn from what went right, and I think also what went wrong. A lot went wrong. But yeah, how can they adjust that? How can they double down on a couple things? And you're right. I think they'll up the pressure probably, and then offensively, I think they're gonna kind of stick with the game plan of like, look, we got to try to get the run game going.
And I'm sure when they look back at their running game, they'll probably say, okay, this is where you need to be. This is who you should have blocked. Yada yada yada. And they'll have a lot of that, I think, corrected by the time that we go up against them. I saw a lot of folks getting excited that we can going to go out there and blow out Fresno State. I'm kind of concerned with the way that Fresno State came out and played today, that they're really going to be amped up to try to come back with a really good game this coming up week and try to show that they're not as bad as what they showed against Kansas.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think again, like them opening at home, getting that first game off their backs, we will have kind of the first game jitters or the rust, right? So yeah, anything can happen. Again, look at Farmageddon out in Dublin. Like that game was ugly. Like for 3.5 quarters. I mean, there were so many fumbles. I mean, it was rainy. The conditions were terrible. But yeah, I mean, a first game, you just never know. And
Nope.
Fresno's already had their first game. So I would chalk that up as an advantage for them.
Yeah.
Yes, we get tape on them. But again, they get that kind of like tune up.
Yeah. I feel like at this point for them, it's just going to be more self-correction and
it is,
than it is probably scouting for us.
I think so. Cause again, I think Kansas is a good football team. How they stack up against us, I mean, it's hard to tell, at this point with us not playing. But I'd say we're somewhere around the same caliber, honestly. I think we can be around the same caliber as like a Kansas. But yeah, so I mean, Fresno essentially gets like another shake at it, right? So yeah, like it's not a back to the drawing board situation. It's just like a do more of the same, and let's get take 2 here, right? So yeah, with that, Cody, I mean, we haven't talked about their defense a lot. Like I said, they gave up 383 total yards, pretty even on the ground. I mean, Kansas pretty much at will did whatever they wanted. If they wanted to run, they were able to run. If they wanted to pass, they were able to pass. They were able to avoid the pass rush for the most part and make plays, force turnovers. Obviously, that's on Fresno State offense, but they did have 3 total turnovers. Fresno State did, all on EJ Warner. So I left out a critical fumble. He got sacked, got rolled over, fumbled the football, gave Kansas with good field position. They had pretty much good field position the whole game. So yeah, I think turnovers is going to obviously be a factor here on both sides. We have to take care of the football, obviously. And yeah, I think we can spend some time here in a minute kind of talking about like what we'd like to see out of French and others, but just kind of focus on them. Yeah, I mean, they do turn the ball over a lot. We know that Warner is susceptible to that. I think we've just got to
I don't think their defense. Yeah, I don't think their defense was too terrible. I just think that they got put in some bad situations with the turnovers.
I thought their defense was fine. They looked pretty fast. They got a good looking middle linebacker. And Pearson, I think his name was. They're probably just gonna do what they do, try to send a lot of different blitz packages and things like that, and disrupt.
In fact, that
or
Pearson guy
flow.
that you just mentioned, he led the team in tackles, 12
Yeah.
total, 10 solo,
Yeah.
1 tackle for loss. So he's obviously going to be their tackling machine.
He was all over the field. Yeah.
And so, that's obviously somebody that our offense has got to pay attention for. But no, I felt like their defense, you look at the you look at the score sheet and you think 31-7, you're thinking, man, not that great. I thought their defense played pretty well.
I thought
Overall,
they did.
considering everything. And they only gave up 7 points in the second half. Again, I think they kind of were put behind the 8 ball a little bit by the turnovers. And then, just sort of field situation, they just didn't, put in really good spots. And before they knew it, it was 24-7. Now it's 31-7. And, granted, at least after they gave up that last touchdown, they didn't give up any more points, even though their offense kind of just went in complete, in complete just shutdown mode. Their offense just couldn't move the ball at all. But no, I think this is my biggest concern in terms of what we may overlook, in that we may underestimate their defense going out there to California and think that, we can just show up and maybe, we can just score 30, 40 points on them and no big deal. No, I don't think so. I think if they blitz and are aggressive as the way that they are, I think that could cause us a lot of problems if we're not focused and we don't come out there with a strong game plan.
Yeah, no, exactly. We have to. That's the key. Is right a strong game plan, and then also the ability to adjust on the fly. And so yeah. I mean, obviously we'll have a game plan. If that starts to not go well, we're gonna have to make those halftime adjustments.
I think we need to really use O.J. Arnold, Bedinga, and Gibbs.
Yeah.
I think we really need to utilize our running backs in our rushing game. I feel like Kansas did a great job at doing that and not just balancing out their attack, but what was it? They had like 5 or 6 yards of carry that they had. I really feel like they can open up some holes, and I feel like we need to
5.4.
Yeah, I feel like we need to really do the same thing and not just be one dimensional and not just again, I think one of the criticisms we had of Applin last year was that he would get just too pass happy, or we would run the ball 2 or 3 times in a row, look great, and then for some reason throw it for the next 3 attempts and kill our drive.
Yep.
So, I think we just need to find a good balance in terms of our rushing attack, and if it's working, keep going at it, and don't get away from it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, I mean, I think it also get them involved in the passing game. I mean, we have a lot of, potential pass catchers, tight ends, running backs, obviously the wide receivers. But so, and I think like with the blitz too, like when on passing, like quick release is going to be a key, right? Which I know is part of the offense anyway, but let's see how like fluid that looks of like, maybe you can take a couple deep shots here and there. But let's get rid of the ball in kind of a split second, find the guy with some open field. And
I think French is going to have to know who his hot routes are and get him out quick, because again, they're going to bring the pressure on him. And if he doesn't know where to go, or if he takes that second to think about it, he's going to get sacked, and it's going to be a long day for that offense.
Agree. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. That's that. I don't know if there's that much more to say about Fresno.
I was not impressed with their special teams. If it becomes something with the special teams, I think we're way better than them on special teams, even without knowing the field goal kicker situation.
I was about to say we don't know who our kicker is.
We don't know who the kicker is, but I feel like our kicker's got to be better than what they showed today.
I mean, yeah, he didn't look good, and the punter honestly didn't look that great, and so yeah, that's true. We might have a leg up there. Yeah, I just hope that we can go out and get up on them early.
Yes.
And, kind of make it force like a track meet, which I don't think they can match.
No, you saw it today.
Yeah.
Right.
They can't.
They got up 21-7, and I felt like that was sort of almost the end of the game at that point. And then when they put it at 28-7, then it was like, all right, this game's getting out of hand pretty quick. And or what was it, 24-7?
24-7.
So
and I mean,
24-7,
and Kansas could have scored at the end. I mean, I think Kansas could have put up 45, 50 points, honestly.
They probably could have,
to.
But I think they called it back a little bit, to be honest.
They did. But again, I think they showed, like you said, they showed us the blueprint. I think like be aggressive early, attack, try to get a multi-score lead. and then don't let up. And then I think if we can get a 20 plus point lead like at halftime, then I'm going to feel really good about things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, again, easier said than done. And yeah, I mean, look at Nevada last year. I think Fresno, historically a much better program than Nevada, where they're at right now, maybe somewhere close to the same
Well, I was going to say
caliber.
that Nevada team, they played, so they also played a week 0, but we played them week 2.
Yeah.
But to me, they had SMU to open up the season week 0 in Nevada, I believe.
And almost beat them.
And almost beat them. Yeah, and SMU ended up, what, second in the ACC?
Playoff team.
Oh, was it playoff? Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if they were a playoff team or if they had just missed it.
No, they got blown out, but they made the playoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, again, if you're going to just look at it just kind of based on week 0, Nevada looked a lot better in their week 0 game than Fresno did. And Fresno came out and beat Troy at Troy the week 1.
That's right.
And so, again, Nevada looked the part, at least they looked to be a better team at this point than Fresno State did. And Nevada, to me, besides their record looking terrible, you go back and look at some of their games that they played against their opponents, they actually played really well down the stretch and had some close losses.
A lot of close games.
And they had some injuries, too, that didn't help them out. But regardless, I think there's a lot to be positive about going into the week 1 game. But I think, again, it's that hesitation of I don't want to get my hopes up too early and too high because I don't want to be disappointed.
It's too, yeah. It is just too early is the thing. And you just never know. Like you said,
Correct.
I mean, there's like, look at Idaho State and UNLV. Like UNLV very well could be the G6, G5, G6 representative in the college football playoff this year. They could end up just running the table, blowing out Boise State and, twice or
nearly
whatever.
Lost to the third best team in Idaho.
In Idaho, right? So it happens. I mean, like Boise State almost beat Oregon last year. Maybe that's a bad example because obviously Boise State did make the college football playoff, but like things happen.
Yeah.
Like Georgia Tech almost beat Georgia. Like, so, and yeah.
Well, Georgia State beat Vandy, and Vandy
Georgia
went
State
on
beat
to
Vandy. That's a good example.
Beat Alabama and nearly took 10, but yeah, no, it's.
I think it comes down to us. Like if you go back and listen, if you haven't listened to our part 2, definitely go do that. We talk about expectations and that, and my kind of like point of the whole thing is like this season is about us. It's not about who we're playing. It's not about the excuses of the long road trips or the Power 4 teams or the rivalries or the short weeks or the how we play after a bye. It's all about us, right?
Yeah.
It's not about who lines up, across us. Because for really 2 years now, we've been in a position to do a lot more than what we end up doing. And when you go back and look at it, those teams that we lost to, we had no business losing to.
Correct.
We beat the teams that maybe we on paper shouldn't have beaten. I think this year that changes. I think, other than James Madison and USC, and James Madison only because we play them up there, I think, on paper, we're better than everyone else we play, but, including Fresno State, but, we've got to go out and we got to show it. We can't have a lapse. We can't take a team lightly. We can't do all that, so yeah. Can we beat Fresno State? Yes.
Yeah.
Should we beat Fresno State? Yes. Will we? Obviously, we don't know that, but I'll go a step further. I think we should beat them by 2 scores.
Ooh, that's a big one.
I do. I think we should. Now, like, will we? Again, I don't know, but I think if we are as good as I think we can be, and we've finally figured some stuff out where again we can show that consistency and just like we need to start like beating bad these teams like this that are just like more of the like middle of the pack type teams like the Nevadas and the Troys and the Old Dominions. We have to find a way not just to beat them, in my opinion, but beat them like Kansas just beat Fresno.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. It's I hope we beat them by multiple scores. That would be great. It really would. And I think just for me, I'm just so eager to see this team because I think we know how good they can be. We just got to see it, right? I think everybody has that bad taste of how that bowl game went, right? With
Yeah,
how bad the with the turnovers, and then even with as bad as we played, we still nearly had a chance to win that daggone bowl game.
we did.
And then we've had this whole off season of having that as the last taste of our mouth. Considering that the episode preview in the bowl game, we were happy as can be, right? We were 8-4. We
Yep.
just missed out. We were like, wish we could go have that Troy game back. Wish we could have went prepared up against Old Dominion. One of those two things, and we'd have been talking about conference champ, yada yada yada.
Yeah, right.
But the whole off season has just been just this last taste of just this disappointing bowl game. And now I feel like we have the pieces together. This looks like on paper, this should be the best team that Clay Helton's had. It looks like it should be one that not just contends, but could be double-digit wins, maybe more. If some balls go the way, we get some luck go away, could be something special. But man, but we just got to see it, and I'm so eager to see it on Saturday. I hate that I got to wait till 9:30 at night, but it's like one of the last teams to start.
I know.
But again, I'm trust me, we'll be tweeting about it and staying up the whole time. We'll either be cheering or fussing or probably a little bit of both. And no, I can't wait. We'll probably do the episode immediately after the game, no matter what time it gets over with. And
you think so? We're going to do that on Sunday? I don't know.
I don't know. That could be
real
late
for you.
Could be,
yeah. It's
like
it's weird
1 o'clock.
for me because I'm in Colorado, so it's gonna be 7:30 kickoff, which is like a normal time, but I don't get those. I just watched Iowa State and Kansas State.
95% of our fans,
kickoff at 10 a.m. this morning. So like that's more normal to me.
You were just
NFL,
waking up.
Yeah, NFL is 11 o'clock. I'm like, I watch the Falcons. Like, I feel weird. Like, I go to a bar and I'm like, am I drinking a beer right now? Like, what's happening?
Bloody Marys, buddy.
Yeah, Bloody Marys. So, but yeah, so it's going to be a late game, but we're going to be out there. I think we get out there on Friday. We're obviously going to stay out for the 2 weeks.
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys training camp.
If you have not heard.
Yeah. So that's great. Obviously get prepared for US. And we're going to need all the prep we can get. So that's good. I like the sequence of games that we get Fresno before USC. So yeah, hopefully we can just go out there and come away with a win.
How much do you think the time difference will play a part on the game? You think that'll matter too much? Or you think it's gonna?
I don't think it will. That's what I was saying because it's so late, right? I think if it was like a noon kickoff or something,
yeah,
which would have been 9 o'clock in the morning or whatever, right? Or like that, like to their bodies.
Well, I remember one time. What was it? The first year that we were in the Sun Belt, we had to go to Idaho. Yeah. And they changed the time to like 9 o'clock. And the whole reason it was like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock their time in Idaho. But the whole reason for it was because they wanted it to be as late as possible in terms of our time, right? Because they thought that, because it would.
I don't think 9:30 is that like on our clocks. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
Now if it's something like Hawaii, then yeah, I bet that that wears on you, I'm sure. But yeah, I think with the 3 hours, like it's fine.
It should be fine.
It should be fine. So yeah, I mean, let's see, where do we go from here? I wanted to kind of talk. I mean, we talked about Fresno, and then I had the whole spiel about like it's kind of about us. So let's talk about us a little bit. Like, what do you want to see out of us in this football game?
Okay, so I believe Kansas utilized their tight ends a lot in this game in terms of their passing attack. I would like for us to utilize our tight ends, whether that's River Helms, whether that's Green, the transfer from Georgia State, or Long, the transfer from Georgia Tech. I think we got 3 guys right there that can roll out there and play, and we can utilize and be effective in this. I think if they attack us and blitz us like I think they will, then they're going to have to be used because they're probably going to be the hot routes or the flats that we need to go ahead and throw the ball out to just get the 4 or 5 yards and move on to the next play instead of taking the sack or the incompletion. The next thing I want to see is on the offense is I want to see our offensive line effectively move and create the holes and gaps for our rushing attack. It's not just I don't want to see O.J. Arnold make plays or Badinga make misses or run people over. Terrence Gibbs go out there and use his body mass to get hard yards. No, I want to see our offensive line actually move people and create the holes to where we can get explosive runs. Sort of like what we had the first year under, who was it, Richard Owens, I believe is his name, right?
Yeah.
Who's at Louisville. So I would like to see that. I would like to see also with the offensive line, they did a nice job of reducing the sacks last year from, 34? I think it was in the 20s. Let's keep the sacks to a minimum. I know Fresno State's going to be aggressive.
Richard Owens, it was 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, it was something crazy.
Yeah, but like best in the country, so.
But no more than, I would like to see 0 sacks, to be honest with you. If we come away with 0 sacks, I'm thinking that we probably do win by your multi-score hopeful,
Agreed with that. Yeah, for sure.
But if we're up to the 3 or 4 or 5 sacks in the game, then I'm getting pretty concerned that maybe we didn't win that game.
And I think if that's the case too, we probably don't win, and we probably also have a couple turnovers.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether fumbles or interceptions. Because of the pressure. But
so those are my offensive things that I'm looking at. Are those sort of really tight end usage, offensive line?
Yeah, no, that's good. A bit more like mine are a bit more high level. Honestly, it's like the combo of play calling from Ryan Applin, second year play caller as our offensive coordinator. Just like you said with Fresno, like after the scripted plays, after the first couple drives, how are we looking? Do we get in panic mode? Are we getting too pass happy? Are we trying to get too cutesy with things? Right, we saw it time and time again last year with
we know a trick plays coming.
Right. And that's fine. I'm fine with it if it's like high percentage of success and it's called at the right time. But if it's like we're up by 10 or we're up by whatever, and then you're just like doing it out of nowhere on a weird down, so it's just like the head scratching moments. It's like, do your bread and butter playbook, establish yourself and make them stop you. And honestly, I think if all things are clicking, all the things that you said, get the tight ends involved, get the running backs involved, if the offensive line lives up to the potential that I think they can, we shouldn't need trick plays to beat this football team, period. I'm not saying don't do it, but it's we can beat Fresno State just running our playbook. And, so but I do want to see, situational play calling, what that looks like. If it does end up being kind of a grinded out game like we saw at Nevada, is the offense able to extend drives and grind out yards, keep the defense off the field? Then the second part of that obviously is JC French, second year starter, and just how he looks overall. We spent a lot of time talking about him in part 1 of our team preview of, he's one of few returning quarterbacks in the Sun Belt Conference. And, we're hearing a lot of good things out of camp, but just how poised can he be? We know he stepped up as a leader, recently named a captain, right? So they named the 4 captains. He's got a lot of weapons at his disposal. He's got a good offensive line in front of him. But, if Fresno is throwing that pass rush at him, can he do that check down? Can he throw the ball away? Can he eat the ball and maybe take that sack when he has to and not force things, right? We saw a lot of fumbles last year, obviously, too many interceptions. So that's what I'm really going to be paying attention to is has JC French leveled up? And I honestly think he has, but I want to, like you were saying with the team,
gotta see him.
I got to see it.
Yeah.
I got to see it. So I think if I see those two things, like all yours are good too. Again, that's a bit more like granular. But if I see, really solid play calling, high efficiency stuff from Applin, and then just pure execution to a T with JC French, I'm going to feel really, really good about the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I would like to add one more, which is more defensive related, which is I want our front 6 or front 7 to control the line of scrimmage, namely stop the run game like Kansas did, and try to get some tackles for loss and a couple of sacks on E.J. Warner. I think our secondary can cover their receivers. If I'm not mistaken, their receiver core was probably their weakest part of their entire offense, with a lot of I think their 3 or 4 receivers, not much had any playing experience, a whole lot. Even the transfers had really, 0, just like a handful of catches, handful of
Yeah.
yards. It wasn't a whole lot. And you saw that, I think you saw that in the Kansas game, that the receiving core just could not really break away or get up, any sort of space on the Kansas secondary. I would like to see our front 6 or front 7, if you include the nickel, to really control the run game, shut it down,
Yep.
and then just pin your ears back. Hopefully we get up a couple scores, pin your ears back and go after EJ Warner. And just that's defensively, I need to see us control the line of scrimmage and stop the run game.
Yeah. No, I wanted to spend some time talking about defense. So I agree. Kind of same for me. I think that our secondary can have a field day if what you're saying comes true.
Yeah.
And we put on that pressure. That's part of the game plan, and we're successful doing so. I think the Chance Gambles and Tracy Hill Juniors of the world are going to eat. And I think Warner adds to his interception total, and yeah, but I think that's the key is like you can't give him too much time. You got to shut down the run game because they're still going to establish it, even though obviously didn't go their way against Kansas, and make them one-dimensional, make Warner beat you, and frankly, I don't think he can. So, yeah, but we've got to take him out of that element, and make them kind of force things.
Yeah,
so
you gotta.
that's both the offense.
You almost have to
get
treat
up-
it like an option offense to a degree. You can't let them get in the third and short situations, which they want.
Yep.
To where they can, either run the ball or do the little flat, route to get the easy completion, to get the first down, to move the chains. You really got to get them in second and long, third and long, force them into doing something that they don't really want to do or aren't comfortable doing, and then and then let your offense do the work. I think the really granular thing is that I want to see on the defense is I want to see just how tight our coverage is on the receivers. I felt like at times when we play these teams, and we mentioned this in the preview episode as well, that when we play sort of these run-based teams or these run-heavy teams, that we do great at stopping the run, but we play 5-6 yards off in terms of coverage on the receivers, and we allow these really easy pitch and catch throws that shouldn't be that way. So I want to see how our coverage is and see how tight we're playing. And I think if we play, again, tight coverage, we don't give them a lot of space, I think we probably, and I think we probably beat them by multiple scores like you're hoping for. And it would be nice to kind of really just set the stage and just kind of not really like an announcement like, hey, we're here. Like we're now part of the G5, G6, like top tier teams.
Yep.
But kind of, I want us to kind of be a show to say, hey, look,
I think
we went
exactly that.
I Fresno State, and let's just show the country that by God we're here and we're not taking any prisoners.
I think that's it. You nailed it. I mean, I think that's where we're at. Like the Nevada game last year, sure, that's like a stepping stone. Get out there.
That was just a win on the road.
Long road trip, win on the road, right?
Yeah.
Get that monkey off our back. We did it, right? 20-17 or whatever it was. It's a win. Cool. Chalk it up and move on. This one, let's make a statement. Let's make a statement. Yes, it's out of conference. Yes, and I know, like, I'm contradicting myself because I said in the other thing, like, the out of conference, I don't care that much because ultimately, like, the main goal this year is to win the East.
Yeah.
And this doesn't get us any closer to that goal, whether we beat them by 50 or lose to them by 50. So, but like you said, it's just like just like an announcement to the college football world, and especially G5 and the Sun Belt of like, look, Mount West, again, this is, it was a 6-7 team last year. But this is a historically very good,
they've
Mount
had
West
very good
team.
players come through. You're talking about
Derek Carr,
Devontae Adams, the Trent Dilfer. I think was a quarterback. I mean, you look at the list and the lineage of football players in the last 25 years, they have several NFL players, several players that have gone on to win Super Bowls. So, I think
Keyshawn Johnson, I didn't realize when there, but
really,
yeah, apparently career receiving leaders.
Okay. Had no idea. But I was going to say, they're also moving to the Pac-12.
That's a different Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah,
15 to 18.
Okay, yeah, because the other one went
Yeah.
to Miami, right? I think it was Miami.
Yeah, it was Miami. Yeah, it's 15-18. So it was the years he was there. So different Keyshawn.
Okay.
Probably spelled differently too. But Devontae Adams is on there. He's their third career receiving leader.
Gotcha. No, I think Fresno State's going to the Pac-12.
Yep. True.
Or I guess they're the Pac-12, even though they have
it's going to be the
9
Pac-12. Yeah.
members.
I think they'll have 8 after everybody moves over. But yeah, I mean, they obviously are going to think of themselves as a power conference. I don't think the rest of the college football world's going to think of them that way.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's kind of a statement thing of like this is a Mount West team that is in that tier echelon with the Boise States of the world and not the Nevadas of the world, right?
Correct.
So yeah, let's show, the Sun Belt's for real. We're for real.
I don't even care about the Sun Belt. I just want to show that we're for real. I mean, honest to God.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
that's fair.
do. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I get that there's a lot of folks that like the conference bragging rights, but personally, me, I don't care about that too much. I want us to go out there and win because I
think in certain situations,
we need to tell it, and we need to come out and say, hey, look, we're here. Like
this time next week, I think it matters more. Of like, hey, we beat USC. We beat Nebraska. App State beats Texas A&M. I know, like, App State plays Boise State right in a couple weeks. I saw like an article from like the Sun Belt Syndicate where they were breaking down the like best, I think is how they categorize it, the best out of conference games in the Sun Belt, and they had App State Boise number 1 and us USC number 2. And I mean, obviously, like, yeah, there's the Clay Helton storyline with us, but I guess the point was like for Boise and App arguably are like they're the 2 giant killers, right? They are in the group of 5. So like having those 2 historic programs go up against each other. But basically the point the author was trying to make was like it helps the conference. Like if it's like, hey, App State goes and beats Boise State, who's this like perennial darling in the group of 5, in the playoff, made a bunch of, New Year's 6 games.
Well, yeah.
If they go and beat them, then, that's a big statement. I would argue us being USC is bigger, though.
Yeah.
Much bigger, but yeah, anyway.
No, I get it. Rising tides raise all ships, right? So, it makes sense. But
I hear you, though. It's just about us.
I just, to kind of go into your point, your main theme, I feel like, of this season, it's about us. And honestly, it is. I'm not really caring about conference bragging. I want us to go out there and make a statement and say, hey, y'all got to deal with us now. You're going to have to. We've been kind of dormant on and off for the past 10 years, and now we're back.
I'm trying to like be careful about this because like the answer is probably no, but like how we show up against them, does it change how USC looks at us at all? Like if we go out and we blow the doors off of Fresno, they are like, oh,
I think they pay a little bit more attention to us.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a crazy like jump in attention.
Yeah.
I think for USC, because their schedule starts off so, for like a better term, easy. Yeah. I mean, they have like Weber State to open up like an FCS school.
Weber, us, and then I think someone else. Purdue, yeah. But I think someone between then too, maybe. I don't know.
It could be. I haven't looked at their schedule lately. But I'll let you pull that up because you could probably do it faster than I can look it up.
I'm working on it. So they play Missouri State next week, then us, then Purdue.
Okay. Then who's playing Weber State? Somebody we plays Weber State.
They're not playing Weber State.
Okay.
And then they played Michigan State, who's not that great. Then Illinois, then Michigan, then Notre Dame.
So yeah, it takes them 4 or 5 weeks to get into decent opponents. Probably the first team they'll really care about is Michigan State, just because it's probably be like their first.
Shapes up very similar to when we played Nebraska.
Yeah.
Right? Like Nebraska played they played an FCS opponent, like I think the first week, then they played us, and then they played somebody else that was like a group of 5 or something.
No, or did they play Northwestern in the Ireland game that year?
They might have done that. Yeah.
And lost to them. They were up big, and I think they lost to them.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, it was something along those lines where.
And then like came home and everyone was like, oh, yeah. Like, well, now we get 2 cupcakes, and then But yeah, no, I was just curious of like, I mean, obviously not that we should hold back or anything, but
No, but I will
go out and
because there's no there should really be no players on USC's team from Clay Helton's tenure. Everybody should
No.
be gone or
everybody's
transferred.
gone on both sides.
Yeah. Like I said, the only way that I think it kind of perks their interest is if we really go out there and like just blow them out, like it's something like crazy, like 55-3 or something like that.
Yeah,
you know,
put
something
up 70 on them or something.
Yeah, then they'll maybe like, oh, okay, maybe we gotta pay attention to this team.
Yeah.
But no, I honestly don't think how well we play or how bad we play changes anything to how USC views us.
Does it affect us if like do we then get more or less confident going into USC?
Now
Like,
that's an
yeah.
interesting question because I think if we lose or win closely, like it's like a last second field goal or last drive type of a thing, and it's just one of those games in which both sides have looked ugly with turnovers and stuff like that, then yeah, I think that can maybe diminish how we feel going into the USC game. But if we go and we play this flawless game and we win by multiple scores,
we don't get overconfident. Though,
No. I think we get. I think we get
yeah.
determined. I think our confidence in how we can go down to LA and win increases.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, no, I think how we play will the confidence going into LA will definitely swing based on how we play, whether we play poorly or we play really, really good.
Yeah, no, agreed. All right. Well, that's all I got. We're close to an hour. Yeah, so we can call it. I mean, again, this is the first time we've ever done a week 1 preview of just
even the
team.
first year. Was the first year?
I don't know. Maybe the first year. Yeah,
I forget.
can't remember. We might have
usually
because we usually don't have. We usually have like an FCS opponent or for a couple of our seasons.
Yeah,
right?
we had Morgan State and the Citadel.
Yeah, so it's like so they're all wrapped in. It's like we'll do whatever, and we're like, and here's Morgan State. They were 3 and whatever last year. So obviously last year, Boise didn't even get its own episode.
No,
I don't think.
No, I don't.
Which is crazy. But yeah. So anyway, here we are. So yeah, go back and listen to those episodes if you haven't. Break down offense, defense, special teams, part 1. Talk about expectations, part 2. This obviously all about Fresno State.
Isn't there a part 3?
This is basically part 3.
I thought you released a part 3. This is part 4.
This is schedule. This is episode 4.
Okay.
The schedule was expectations.
Gotcha.
That's the same episode. So if you go back and listen to episode 1, that's off-season recap.
That's right.
That's off-season recap. I have auto tune on. I sound like T-Pain. So just like if you want to laugh, do that. We pay tribute to freedom, but yeah, we did.
Which I don't know if you heard, but Steve Hine did a interview with Danny Reed on the Inside Eagle Nation podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
A week or 2 ago.
Okay.
In which he goes over all of that freedom and that he's also training a new Eagle right now. He confirms that. No timetable on when.
I think I didn't listen to it, but I think I got the highlights of like, basically it's up to the Eagle, right?
Pretty much.
The Eagle decides like when it's ready. So
yeah,
obviously won't be this year. Maybe like next year we have it like on the sidelines or something like that, but not flying probably. And then obviously to get it like flight ready and comfortable doing that, not just like able to do it, but able to do it in front of 25,000 people, 2 very different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to take time. It's not just getting a bulldog with health issues and putting it in a doghouse,
or a tiger in a cage,
that might take a little prep. It's like Colorado with Ralphie. They've got like a whole crew. They have they're like, that's all they do. They've got like a 15 like staff.
Who else? It's Texas staff. In the Longhorn, right? Bevo. They have a whole staff.
They have like a whole staff. Yeah. And that's all they do.
And then, if you want to really go into staffs, I think Georgia Tech has a whole staff for that was it Model A car that they have that drives out onto. Yeah. To keep that thing running.
That seems like overkill. Like a whole staff just to keep.
Well, I don't know.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
assume that they have at least a couple people to maintain the maintenance on it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, they're not just gonna take it to like
Take it to the Jiffy Lube.
take
Hey, I
it
need
to
an
the
oil
Jiffy
change.
Lube. I need an oil change. Don't scratch it. So all right. Well, college football is back. It's exciting. We
It
don't
is.
have to have these filler conversations anymore. We'll
No.
have actual football to talk about, Georgia Southern football to talk about.
The next episode will either
Next
be
week.
really happy, really mad, or indifferent because we still would have no clue as to how our team is going to perform because they had moments of greatness and moments of calamity. So we'll see.
That one. I mean, I guess I would take that over the like just being mad and us losing, but man, I hope it's the first one. Man, I hope it's the first one. Yeah, yeah, I hope it's a statement. So with that, Cody, we'll pick it up next time. Let's go out to the West Coast and GATA. And as always, Hail Southern.
Hail Southern.